3 is called Isn't That Snot-Lout a Lovely Guy? Hiccup and Fishlegs and Kamikaze didn't see what was happening behind them. They had some problems of their own. Hiccup had set off as fast as he possibly could, still hot with embarrassment at the scene on the beach. "Wait up," begged Fishlegs, splashing after Hiccup and Kamikaze in a clumsy dog paddle. "It's really tricky trying to swim in these beastly armbands. We don't have to go too far, you know. We're not warriors. We're only in this competition for the fun of it. We're supposing your idea of fun is freezing your horns off in sharkworm-infested waters, of course." As soon as Hiccup got out of his depth, the weight of his helmet and his sword made him drop abruptly, and it was only by kicking madly that he was able to keep his chin out of the water. There he is, slightly submerged by the wave. Even Kamikaze was finding that swimming fully armed took a lot of concentration. Her sword and daggers weighed her down so far to the right that she had a tendency to swim round in circles. "Oh, bother," complained Hiccup. "How am I possibly going to beat Snot-Lout at this rate?" They were so busy trying to keep afloat that they hadn't noticed Snot-Lout and Dog's Breath and Dobreath and Durbrain swimming up behind them, which shows how distracted they were. Dog's Breath's splashy crawl was as noisy as a hippo in a bathtub. The two bullies overheard the last bit of the conversation, and Snot-Lout was laughing so hard he was in danger of drowning. "You said it, Hiccup, you loser," cried Snot-Lout. "What if you 3 beat me? I've never heard anything so funny in my life." "Ha ha ha," grunted Dog's Breath, snorting seawater out of his nose. "Thing is, Hiccup," sneered Snot-Lout, "you heard everybody laughing on the beach. You guys are just an embarrassment to the tribe." Snot-Lout's eyes were alight with real murderous malice. He looked over his shoulder to check that nobody see what was going on. "I'm now going to give you, Hiccup, a lesson in being a Viking hero, and you, Fishlegs, a lesson in how to swim without your armbands." "No!" shrieked Fishlegs, trying to swim away, but he hadn't a hope of escaping. Both Snot-Lout and Dog's Breath were big, burly adolescent, and they caught him easily, ducking Hiccup and Kamikaze along the way. Oh no, there they are. Snot-Lout popped the right armband with his dagger, and Dog's Breath removed the left. "Now, Hiccup," purred Snot-Lout, "you can just about make it back to shore on your own, but if you try doing it holding Fishlegs, I don't fancy your chances. So what do? I suggest you do us all a favour and ditch the loser, but it's up to you, of course." I don't think Hiccup's going to do that. And the two bullies swam away, laughing. Hiccup resurfaced, gasping, and thrashed through the water towards poor Fishlegs, who was going under for the second time. With the help of Toothless, Stormfly, and Fishlegs' hunting dragon, Horikow, he got the boy upright with his head out of the water. But Fishlegs was so terrified he was struggling and in danger of dragging Hiccup under with him. "Stop panicking and relax," shouted Hiccup sharply. "Relax?" shouted Fishlegs. "How can I relax? I'm drowning. Drowning isn't very relaxing." But he stopped struggling and forced himself to go limp and floated onto the surface with Hiccup and Kamikaze holding him by the shoulders. "Okay," said Hiccup in his "I'm trying to stay calm, but really I want to run around in circles" screaming voice. "Now I think we might have a bit of a problem." As Hiccup bobbed upwards on the waves, he could see the shoreline, and suddenly it seemed very distant. Hiccup wasn't sure that he could make that swim back, carrying Fishlegs all the way, even with Kamikaze helping. This is the trouble with a proper Viking swimming race. It's a game of judgment as well as endurance. You have to be very careful that you don't go out so far that you run out of energy to make it back. "We'd better get Fishlegs back to the shore then," Hiccup said with a confidence he was far from feeling. "Carrot, anyone?" smiled Horikow, sensing a crisis and swooping down from above in a motherly sort of fashion. "It will help keep your strength up for the swim ahead." "Not now," Horikow said Hiccup, and then trying to sound extra casual, "Horikow, maybe you could just flat back to the shore and tell them to send out some rescue dragons for us." "Righty-ho," replied Horikow cheerily, and she flapped off. "Keep kicking, keep kicking, keep kicking, keep kicking." Hiccup lost count of the amount of times he had said this in the next half hour, for a strange thing was happening. The more they kicked, the further they seemed to be getting from the beach. During the confrontation with Snot-Lout and Dog's Breath, they had drifted into a tide that was carrying them out to sea. They could no longer hear the friendly shouts of other Vikings. Apart from the sound of their own splashing, they were alone in a stone-cold sea that stretched out for miles around them. "I'm getting tired," said Kamikaze, who was never tired. It's a little difficult to see how their situation could get any worse, but that, as anybody who has read Hiccup's memoirs before will know, it is often a sign that things are going to get really, really bad. Suddenly Toothless, who had been fishing for mackerel, shot shrieking out of the sea only centimetres from Hiccup's ear. "What is it, Toothless?" gasped Hiccup as the little dragon hovered above him. "Something nasty," stammered Toothless, spiralling upwards on shaking wings. "Something nasty down there." "Oh, gosh, What sort of nasty? Swallowed Hiccup. Toothless not, no, replied Toothless. Nasty, sort of nasty. Didn't wait and see something dark. What's wrong? Shivered Fishlegs. What's he saying? Something nasty, something nasty. Oh, is something nasty? Oh, nothing, lied Hiccup carelessly. You know Toothless, he's easily spooked. Keep kicking, whispered Hiccup, looking all at him. But kick softly. Why softly? Squeaked Fishlegs, beginning to panic and sinking as a result. There's something there, isn't there? What is it? Dark breathers, shark words, terror-fangs. It's nothing, whispered Hiccup soothingly. You just concentrate on floating, Fishlegs. Then suddenly Kamikaze let out a piercing scream. Ag! She thrashed around in the water for a second, and then she was dragged underneath by some unknown force. Kamikaze! Shrieked Hiccup, trying to hold up Fishlegs and look underneath the water at the same time. Kamikaze! Kamikaze! But she was gone. Uh-oh. That's the water, them all looking. She's gone underneath the water. Oh my goodness, it's only the end of chapter 3. I'll have to find out what happened.